what's up? It's me, Shontelle, and you're watching True Exclusives at home.
Good night, my love. The sound of your heart beating. I yearn for your love. My chains are broken. My heart is so wide open. I have fallen in love.
I have a pretty good childhood. I had, for the majority, for the first 10 years of my life, it was just me and my younger sister, who's 2 years younger than me. And then suddenly when I was 10, there was a third one, and it's just the three of us girls. So it's myself, Shontelle, Rihanna, the second one, and Rhea. And we grew up, I suppose you could say, like in the suburbs of Barbados for the most part. Going to the beach all the time. Like we're like beach babies, like total mermaids, beach bums. And I just went to school regular, like every other kid. I did a lot of sports. So I think at my high school, there's probably still like records that I broke that are still, like still intact and stuff like that. I was a big athlete. I did a lot of swimming and playing tennis and track and field and stuff like that. But then I was also the kid destroying everything in the house, making music with it. So it's like pots, pans, like there was like marks on the doors and the wardrobe doors and everything just from me beating it up with spoons and like drumsticks and whatever I could make music from. But when I was young, I used to be really shy, like so shy, and I literally go in the closet and sing. But like when you're really little, you think that if you cannot see anyone, that they also can't see you. And so I used to really imagine that when I go in the closet and close the door, like I disappeared and I wasn't even on earth anymore. So no one could hear me or like see me, but I would be singing at the top of my lungs. And then one day my mom just knocked and she was like, Shontelle, we can all hear you, right? Like the neighbors can hear you. So if you're gonna sing, you might as well just like sing out in the open, just sing for everybody. You have a beautiful voice, you should just sing. And so kind of like that kind of triggered me to at least try to be less shy and have more confidence. Then at school, teachers would be telling me like, you have a nice voice, do you ever think about being a singer? And then I have an aunt, and she is actually a really popular singer here in Barbados. Her name is Kim Derrick. So I actually grew up, I guess you could say, like in a musical family. And so I would always go out of my way to be anywhere where she's performing or anywhere where any live band was performing, really, just to take it all in. And then I just caught this bug, and I would just find myself in every school choir, or like if any girls wanted to start a singing group at school, I was like, I'm in, so that it was just always a part of my life. I have friends who would be like, you will hear Shontelle before you see her because she's always singing. So you will like hear me singing before you see me come around the corner. So I just don't remember like not singing. But I just didn't know how growing up in Barbados I was going to accomplish. Like, how do you get to be Beyonce or, you know what I mean? When you're just from this little rock that no one really knows. So I would just find myself always in anybody's studio, just surrounding myself by music people. And then I ended up writing songs. And the very first big hit that I wrote was for Allison Hines, and it was called Roll It Gal. It goes like, roll it gal, roll it gal, roll, control it gal, roll it gal. And so this song totally blew up. And then people started calling me like, are you the girl that wrote this song? And then they found out that I could sing. And then I started getting offered deals, like production deals, like, hey, we could get you signed, and that was kind of like how it like evolved into just being a hobby or a passion into actually being my job.
Will you remember me? Will you remember me? Will you remember my love? We're young, my love. The past is left behind, and I still find myself in love.
Like I was saying, it started off with me writing the song Roll, which sort of took over Barbados, then it took over the Caribbean, then it just went like anywhere where there's a club. So that got, is a company called SRP Records. They're a production company at the time, and it is literally the same company that found Rihanna in Barbados. But all of this was just a fluke. Like, they happened to, the two guys, Evan Rogers and Carl Sturkin, who run the company and own it, they both have wives from Barbados. So they just always used to come to Barbados. So they kind of like had their finger on the pulse of what was going on in the island musically. And so I think one day they ended up at a pageant, and that's how they found Rihanna. And then that happened. And then it just happened that they were in Barbados again when Roll It was out. And then basically they just came after me the same way, and offered me, you know, a similar situation, to get, you know, to pitch me, you know, put together a project and see if we could land a deal. And so said, so done. I ended up moving to New York and recording, I guess, like a bunch of demos, and we just went to like all the different labels, and I ended up getting signed by Steve Rifkin at Universal. So this was on his label SRC, Street Records, and this was under Motown, which was under Universal. So it was like so many layers of labels. But yeah, that was sort of like how it all happened. I was like, this is not real. This cannot be real. Because I used to always tell my friends and everyone, really, I used to be like, I'm going to be just like Missy, and I'm going to have no limits. I'm going to sing. I'm going to rap. I'm going to chant. I'm going to produce. I'm going to write. I'm going to act. I'm going to do everything. So I literally used to walk around telling my friends, like, I'm the Bajan Missy Elliott, okay? Like, trust me, like, I'm telling you. And everyone would just be like, shut up. Like, there's only one Missy, like, shut up. And I would always say to my mom, like, I don't know how to be that or how to get out there, but I'm going to figure out one of these days. And I used to say that since I was like a kid. Like, I just didn't know how I was going to do it. But it was just this dream, like this weird dream that wouldn't leave me alone. And it would just bother me. Like, I would see myself like on stage and see myself performing and singing songs to crowds. And I don't know, like it was like if I didn't choose it, you know, like I couldn't escape it if I wanted to. Yeah, the first video I shot was for T-Shirt. For me, that was like even crazier, because I was like, this is like, I come from Barbados, then I go to New York, and now I'm in Hollywood, like on a set, you know, like filming a music video with like actual like photographers and like directors that people know. Like, I've seen videos from these people, like how is this happening with me? You know, it was just like so unreal. And it was the first time being in front of all these cameras and all these lights. And, you know, like you think that you watch enough documentaries or whatever to like get a feeling of what it's going to be like. But you know, you're really, I was just a kid, and like I'm still catching up to what I was even experiencing back then. Like, only now that everything, you know, has slowed down, I have time to actually think about like what was going on like when I shot my first video, you know, because you're just in it, and it's like a dream. It's not real. Like I was like pinching myself on set the whole time, like this is not real. So Battle Cry ending up on the Yes We Can compilation. was another moment that did not make any sense to me, because here I am, this little girl from Barbados, and then my music is selected to be a part of a campaign that could potentially elect the very first Black or African American president ever. And like, then the next layer of it is looking at the track listing, and then you're seeing like Adam Levine, Kanye West, like really huge artists that I look up to, and I'm like, how? I don't even know how. And then for my mom, you know, because I feel like for our generation, that moment was a big deal, but I feel like for generations before us, it was like an even bigger deal. And my mom, you know, that was like, I think she might be prouder of that moment than like anything I've ever done in my life. For real, like my mom was always like, my daughter was a part of the Obama thing. You know. So I mean, yeah, to even have like an album, to have anything with like Barack Obama's signature on it is unreal. So they actually sent all the artists that were on it like a vinyl copy with signed by Barack Obama, and I'm just, yeah, that's another thing that doesn't make sense. Nothing makes sense, but I'm cool with it. I'm rolling with it. Another pinch me kind of thing, because like I keep finding myself next to like not like legends, you know. Touring with Beyonce, first of all, there's like a serious process to go through to even be considered to tour with someone like Beyonce, you know. There's a lot of vetting, it's a lot of checking to make sure that the market you're going to be performing in, that people care, you know, like Beyonce cares who opens for her. Like some artists don't care, like the booking people, they just throw another artist on there, and then you'll never meet the artist during the tour or anything, you know, because they really don't even care who's on tour. But Beyonce cares who opens for her. So when I got the opening, like first of all, my mind was blown, but then to actually watch her perform and rehearse and things like that every single day, night after night, like I didn't understand how she wasn't exhausted completely, because it was like get up early in the morning, do sound checks and rehearsals for like hours. Sometimes they would run the full show like twice, and I'm like, you're gonna perform this for real, like in a couple hours? That, like, you know, it was just insane. It was cool, and being in that, it felt like a family, I would say. Like they treated us really well on that tour, and there wasn't anyone that we were kept away from, or we weren't made to feel like you're over there and we're over here. Like we were hanging with everyone, Miss Tina, Jay-Z, you know, like everyone ate together. It was cool. And then being on tour with Beyonce means you also get to meet a lot of other really big artists. So on different nights, you know, one night it was like George Michael came and Adele came, Sade, and I got to meet like all of them. And so I'm just like, how am I sitting here next to Sade? Like, I'm talking to Sade. What is my life? Like, I don't understand it, but I'm giving thanks. So yeah, being on tour with Beyonce is a true learning experience in professionalism, in work ethic. Yeah, and you're definitely, like, when Beyonce's in town, everyone comes out. So yeah, you get to also, the cool plus is you get to meet like a lot of other big artists that you look up to. I definitely get inspiration from everything, from all of my personal experiences and just watching life in general. I feel like I'm just one of those people that I like to think of myself as really in tune. So I'm very sensitive to people's emotions, or like the mood in the room, or like, you know, when someone doesn't realize like this person is bothering this person, I'm the person to pull everyone aside and be like, yo, you're not realizing this, but they don't like that, you know. So I think that helps me tap into a lot of different life situations, But writing, for me, it could be like you said, very spontaneous, like you're on a flight and then you have to go to the bathroom with like your phone and record something, or I could be like, oh, in a party or in the club, and because of something you're listening to or something you're watching or observing, a cool idea comes. And then sometimes you're writing because someone specifically is like being an artist, being contracted, like you work for hire. Like someone says, if you're a painter, or graphic artist, someone like there's times where you design your own thing, but then there's times where someone will specifically say, I need this mural and it's got to be this colorway and it has to be this specific thing. So sometimes, that is the case, and you have to sort of put your mind into someone else's space. So, if you're writing for another artist, you kind of like almost have to pretend you're them and like totally zone into like, you're like, at least that's how I do it. Like I'll be like, I am Rihanna right now. Like I am Beyonce right now. Like I am Sean Paul. Like doesn't matter what artist you're working on. And sometimes it's from the ground up, where you come up with an idea or a melody and then you have to build the track and the music around it later. But most times in these times, music is, especially in pop and like hip hop, everything's really like factory, almost like cookie cutter, like fast. So people just send you like batches of tracks and beats and be like, yo, send me hooks, so you could just kind of find yourself in the studio, just sort of trying to zone into like which artist is popular now or which vibe or which style. And you sort of go down that rabbit hole too. But yeah, it's really random for me. I don't really have a specific style. But as you can see behind me, where I am right now is like my favorite place to be and work from in Barbados. It's like I belong to this awesome, an amazing group of artists and creatives called House of Day. So big up to a Daisy. She's like the queen of like the whole operation. So here, like everything is done here, filming, recording, you name it, writing. So I just like to spend a lot of time around them because I feel like they bring out the best in me, like just artistically. People that you feel comfortable around as a human being, I think that is how the best of anything that you have to express will come out. Also, they're not going to lie to you and just be like trying to make you happy, because they're my friends. So everyone's like, nah, that's not it, Sean, recut that, so they really do make sure that the best comes out of me. So I'm so grateful for that. How Impossible comes about is we have to rewind back to Beyonce tour. So I'm just fresh off of like album 1, T-shirts doing its thing. I'm on tour with Beyonce. Then the tour is over. And then I guess the label was getting a lot of really positive reviews about my performances or like even the way how Beyonce's fans were like accepting of me. Because a lot of times, people's fan base could be real gangsta. And they're like, if you're not the guy or the girl I came to see, get off the stage. But everything was going so well. So I think it really activated my label to say, hey, this is one of the artists that we should really consider. Like, you got to go make this second album real quick. You can't slow down. If you take too long to put out something new, they're just going to forget about you, which is so true. So as soon as I came off tour, I mean, I don't think I was back home for a week. And I was in the studio, and I just remember when I was recording Impossible, I felt like a lot of pressure. I felt like whatever, like this song that you're working on right now, however this comes out, whatever, you're singing for your life right now, because, you have to top what you did before. But then people are also like, oh, so you think you're touring with Beyonce and all that? You better come correct. Like, you better have like some Beyonce type hits. So I was like, this song, I need to sing this. Like, if I'm going to die tomorrow, like this song has to make people not have a choice but to listen to it. You know what I mean? Like, it has to touch you so deep. Like, this has to connect. This has to work. And I recall, like, just being in there and thinking about Beyonce all the time, and thinking about her work ethic, and thinking about how difficult this song is to sing, and how I want to give up. And I hate feeling like I can't get anything done, and wanting to, like, end the session. And then, you know, I just had to, like, breathe and get myself together, like, relax. You got this. And after I was able to relax, you know, then I was able to actually sing the song. And then it came out how it came out. But I just remember being under, like, immense pressure. It was, like, so intense in that session. Like, I just, like, I wanted to cry. I was so frustrated. Because I don't know if any other singers out there have ever tried to sing Impossible, but it's not really an easy song to sing. It sounds really simple and beautiful, but technically it's very difficult to sing. So, I mean, yeah, I was in that session, like, beating myself up, man. Like, I put so much pressure on myself, you know, but I guess it worked. I feel like Impossible might be, like, low-key the most covered song of, like, the decade, but, like, no one says it because, like, usually they'll attribute that to, like, a really big artist that everybody knows them. But I really think that, like, if you go online, there's so many covers of it on YouTube, on TikTok, on everywhere, you know? And I mean, like, in every single country of the world, their X Factor, their idol, their whatever, like, somebody sings this song every season. And it is mind-blowing to me, because it's also a song that, in my opinion, didn't get a ton of promotion or anything. It was just off of the strength of itself. And I think, like, the determination of me and my manager and my small team at the time, just hitting the road, going to every radio station, not giving up, trying to work a ballad in the midst of when EDM was hot. So this is when everything was all Lady Gaga, like Akon, and then here comes me talking about I remember years ago, talking about ballads, you know, like, so yeah, I think it was just a lot of determination and just, like, having, after putting in that amount of work and then that amount of pressure, it's just like, now you cannot give up. You have to bang it out. Like, you have to go to every top 40 station and convince the PD to add this ballad, even though everyone is fist pumping right now, you know? And it was, like, a really slow grind, maybe, like, over 6 months. And then finally it just, like, popped up on the top 40. And then the next week it was in the top 20. And then the next week it was top 10, like that. So that's why, you know, you just, if you believe in something, you just have to keep it, like, stick with it, man. Like, because when it does crack, it's like a, you know, all that pressure and force, like, it's like a mushroom when it happens. And I think because of that slow, gradual grind of that song, we were able to touch different markets, like, in a really personal way. And then people connected to the song. And it has, like, this timeless feeling to it. It doesn't really feel like, piano can't really sound dated, I don't think, you know. So I think even to this day, a lot of people are still discovering the song, because it wasn't, like, this big, like, super promoted, like, you know, like when Adele is putting out a new single and it's like she's on every cover of everything, and there's, like, every possible media outlet has to talk, like, not having that. I think it's a song that people, like, still to this day, there's still some people who are like, oh my God, you're saying this song came out when? You know, and they fall in love with it brand new still, you know. So I think it's kind of a little case study in itself. I feel the music industry should study Impossible, the little song that could. Man Down that was another cool story, because again, I was just at home chilling, minding my business. Like, I think maybe either I had just come off the road or something like that. And And I just remember getting a phone call, and Ree was like, yo, I'm working on some stuff, and the direction I'm going, I feel like if your pen would be perfect for it. Um, so I want you to, in the words of Ree, pull up. And you know what I did? I pulled up. It was actually, she was on tour with Kesha at the time. And I remember it was like the Nokia Theater. They were performing in Jones Beach, not Nokia. It wasn't. It was Jones Beach, and I remember having to. She said, "Come down there and meet her, and then we'll just like talk things through and listen to the stuff and whatever after the show." Because she had like a big studio bus. So said, so done. She kills the show for like 2 hours and then walks off the stage directly onto the studio bus. Like, yeah, so ready to work. I was like, you could change first or relax, you know. But she was just like, nah, I'm ready to go. And by the end of that session, she was like high-fiving and happy and like, yeah, fam, like you, you know, like this, you really, you gave me what I needed, you know? So that was cool. But to be honest with you, I really didn't think Man Down was going to go on the album, because I was like, Tata and Jay Brown are not going to get this song at all. Like, this is so going to go over their heads. Because it had happened before, like there had been music that was submitted that was more in a islandy sort of world, and I feel like a lot of the songs went over their heads, but maybe it was just that Ree fought for it personally. But that was a really cool song to work on, like getting to work with Rock City and Sat Passe on the production, because those, like, all those guys, I love them, and I love their style of production and writing, and they're cool peeps, you know. So just us all getting to work together on Man Down, that was dope. So imagine now you have this like strange phenomenon of like artists coming from unexpected places, and then you get two, like one behind the other. Like, it's too weird. So it's like, how are you not gonna compare them? Like, you know what I mean? It's very, I feel like I would have done it. You know what I mean? Like, as a fan, like I see one artist, like if I saw like an artist come from Fiji and then blows up in the US, and then another artist from Fiji comes like right behind them and like also gets some sort of success, I'd be like, is the second one trying to be the first one? Or like, are they the same? Do we need more than one artist from Fiji? I don't know. I think I'm already good with the first one. Why we need another one? You know, imagine like if another artist came right behind Akon, like, yo, I'm from Senegal too. You know, it would have been hard for that guy too. You know what I mean? People would have been like, come on, bro. Like, we got Akon, we good. Imagine like another Colombian coming behind Shakira. You know what I mean? Like, that is not really easy to follow up, you know, someone who like already comes from a place, an unexpected place, or unknown place for that matter. So, you know, it was already like expected, but it isn't really like a battle that I can fight. It doesn't even make any sense. All I can do is just continue to be myself as an artist and express myself as a writer. And eventually, you know, if you like, just, you know, if you just take some time and explore my music or anything, that you will realize that Rhea and I, even though we do kind of make music in the same pop R&B genres, in the same way that we mess around with hip hop too, and dancehall and reggae, it's all because of those are the influences of music that we had when we were growing up. That's what played on the radio. We are BET 106 and Park kids. So whatever was hot, you know, whatever was on the countdown, that was what influenced us. So, you know, I think that people do end up coming around, and they do realize like, okay, they have totally different voices, and, you know, they don't have the same vibe. Like, they're not the same aesthetic. They're not the same person. They're not the same artist. And so I think it's just a matter of when people are ready, they come around and they realize like, okay, she's not trying to be anyone else. She's just her. Yeah, depression is real. I mean, I guess as an artist, I think we all get to this part, especially if you had like really major success. Then when it's like in a downtime, like you really don't know what to do with yourself. And then you're really like, who am I? And then you're really like, is this gonna come back, or do I get another chance, or is this my expiration date? Like, so you can kind of really put yourself in a funk when you don't know what's going on, and when you also feel like the people around you that are supposed to be doing certain things are not. Like, if you feel like your label isn't really helping or giving you the budget that you need, or these things, you can kind of start to go to a really dark place. And then I remember right in the middle of that, like going through that and trying to be strong through that and trying my best to like ignore it or like not really let it get to me. Then suddenly like this crazy thing starts happening in my family where like people just started dying. Like every year I had like, it was a death of a close family member, and like every single time I wanted to die too. So it was like back to back. My grandfather, then my aunt, then my uncle, then my grandmother, like just back to back to back. Like not even some of those wasn't even a full year in between. And like I just was like, come on, like give me a break. Like, why is this happening? And then also in the middle of that, I was also going through not being able to travel to any U.S. territories because my last visa had expired. And then a certain president came into power and made it so difficult for everyone to like be able to get visas and get, you know, anything to be able to operate. So then I felt like my plug was pulled. You know, because I'm like, hey, my label is based in New York. Like, I have to be in the States. Like, I have to, if I am going to release music in the States, I have to be able to promote it and tour and move around. Like, what do you mean I can't go? So then I am like literally stuck in Barbados, dealing with everyone dying and also dealing with not knowing what is going to happen with my career, just because I literally can't move around, you know? So that was just like the roughest thing for me. Like I could not, like, in fact, it's probably a good thing that when I was going through all this, that I was in Barbados, because I feel like if I was in New York, I like shit could have got really bad, you know, like, but because I was in Barbados where it's tropical and it's, you know, I could like a lot more zen, because New York is very intense, and then you have to be face to face with your peers who are like still going and still working and still moving, and you're like in the crib like wondering what's going on, you know. So it was probably a good thing for me to be extracted from everything, be able to see my dogs, see my mom, my dad, my sisters, you know, like spend actual time at home and reconnecting and recharging and all this stuff, you know. It was probably like a blessing in disguise, honestly. But I did go through, it was dark. A lot of crying on the bathroom floor, a lot of crying yourself to sleep, a lot of I'm not getting out of the bed today, a lot of eat for what? And then also a lot of, okay, I'm just going to eat everything. You know, different little ways of just trying to cope and get through the day. But I think I actually became like a super recluse. Like I went from being this really outgoing person, like I always want to be around everyone all the time, to like, don't even call me, like nobody call me today. I don't want to talk to people. I don't want to see people. I don't like people, you know? So depression can do that to you, man. Like really make you see the world. Like one day it's colorful and another day it's totally gray, you know? So yeah, those things are hard to deal with. And I can really empathize with anyone who feels like they're in a dark place or like they cannot escape a certain situation, or what is the point of life. All those places I have been, you know. Depression is nothing to joke about. Like you can die because when you get really depressed, you do not take care of yourself, you know? And I feel like I was just blessed to have people in my life who love me enough to like bring it to my attention that something is really wrong. Because when you're in that place, I don't think you're thinking about it like, oh, I'm depressed. You know, you're just going through life and it's just like, today's not a good day or whatever. At least that's how it was for me. And then it just became like a lot of not good days. And I remember my personal assistant at the time, Vanessa, God bless her heart. One day she just showed up at my apartment, which she knows was something I had become to hate. Like, don't just pull up on me. You have to like alert me that you are going to come first or ask me first. And so the fact that she did that was a big deal because she already knew how much I hated it. And she was like not letting up. She was like, I'm not leaving until you open the door. And I finally did. And then there was Vanessa with a cup of coffee and like my favorite breakfast sandwich from the deli across the street. And then I just like broke down crying because I'm like, this is someone like who loves you, man. You know what I mean? And she was like, I'm not leaving until you're gonna go take a shower and go get dressed. You know, I'm gonna like warm your coffee up and whatever. When you come out, we'll eat. And then I was like, Vanessa, you're lucky that I opened the door. Like, this is enough. Okay, the coffee and the sandwich, like, I'm happy now, yay. I'm sure you just wanted to see me smile. I'm smiling. She was like, no. And then I was like fighting her, like, I'm not leaving the apartment. I am not leaving here. Why? And she's like, come on. You live on 42nd Street. Like, it's easy. We just have to walk out and there's things to see. So she took me and I didn't know where she was taking me. She was like, trust me, you're just gonna find it beautiful. And I remember I walked out and I hated Vanessa immediately. I was like, I hate you. Like, why would you make me come outside? It's noisy. This is New York. Look, a bus just passed and spit like smog in my face. Like, what the hell? I don't want to see people. And this is too many people. I was like cussing her out and she was just laughing at me. She was like, girl, shut up and walk. And she literally is dragging me through the streets of New York. Then we get to the High Line. And she was like, look, plants, flowers, kids, puppies, you know? And I like, again, I'm just like standing on the High Line, like, oh, Vanessa, I love you so much. And she's like, you needed to see life, man. You can't just be in your apartment. You can't just like not come outside and just order everything from Food Emporium and from like Grubhub and from Amazon. Like, you have to like live, you know what I mean? You can't just sit in there and wait till someone calls you for a show. So just something really simple like that, like at least reactivated a part of me that wanted to live again. And so that one little gesture, that one little thing that Vanessa did, sort of like it was like, if you know, sometimes you have a bug, your computer or your phone is bugging and you just have to restart it. So it was like if she just like rebooted me. And now, okay. So after that, it really showed me the importance of surrounding yourself with people that genuinely care about you, because everyone can get to that really weak place where it doesn't matter how strong you are, like, you're not getting through this alone. Like, you need help. So, you know, it was like Vanessa came to the rescue. Like, that was my help. And I think that helped sort of like reset me back on a path of like, I don't want to be there ever again. So not saying that, you know, you don't feel sad sometimes or go to dark places or get depressed or whatever, but I just find, like, I guess I've figured out ways, like, things I know make me happy and make me feel whole. I will just go to those things if I'm feeling like that and remind myself that whatever I'm bothering myself about or I'm frustrated about might not be that important, because life is actually about these other things. So, you know, I really love my dogs. Like, if you know me, you know that animals mean like everything to me. So as long as if I'm near the beach or animals or people that I know genuinely love me, I'm good, you know? Like that really, really helps a lot for me. Remember Me came about, it's one of the, like how I was talking about blessings in disguise. And I was saying, man, I'm like stuck in Barbados. I don't have no visa. I can't move around. Um, and because I was in Barbados for so long, it actually meant that in order for me to still, like, I thought to myself, like, okay, you can't be an artist right now, but it doesn't mean you can't still be like a prolific songwriter. There's studios in Barbados. You can still go in and cut your demos and send them out. You can still get them mixed and master. You can still do all that. You don't have to be in New York to do that. So from just going out of my way to keep working and staying in the studio, I ended up connecting with a producer from Barbados. His name is Ken Pyle. And then he sent me just like a piano track. And he was just like, I don't know what vibe you're in, but just come to the studio if you want to write something, you know, like let's just do something together just because. So I ended up going to the studio because I was feeling shit, and I knew that working on music makes me happy. So again, like I said, there's the little basket of things I know make me happy, and I'll take any opportunity to go to it. So someone calls me to go to the studio, I'm there, especially if I feel like shit. I'm like, yes. Let me just go make music. So I go to the session, and at first I didn't know what to talk about or what to write. And then we all started talking about like my career and music and the music industry. And we were also talking about the fact that people from Barbados are so underrated and how talented we believe we are, because we don't only have Rihanna's, but you know, a lot of people may not know that Adele's musical director, Miles Robinson, he's from Barbados, and there's like a lot of Bajans that are quite quietly doing big things and nobody really knows. So I just wanted to almost prove a point that a quality song could be written, produced, and released from Barbados and could compete with any other music from anywhere else in the world. So I had a lot of motivation in that session, and it made me wonder, but even if I do manage to write this song, like, are they gonna remember me? Is anyone even gonna care if I put music out again? Because I was away for so long. But then I didn't want to write, like, just straight up sing a song about, hey y'all remember me? I was gone for a long time and now I'm back. Like, you know, I didn't really want to go there. So then I thought people connected to the theme of love with Impossible. And I feel like if when I return, they're going to remember me as the Impossible Girl. And so it will make sense if I stick with the theme of love, at least for now. And I feel like everyone has those feelings of, am I doing enough in life, like, to be remembered? Or the person in my life or the people in my life, am I having an impact or an effect on you enough? Do I mean enough to you that even if our paths separate, or if one of us passes or moves on, you know, is my spirit going to remain with you? Or will I be forgotten? You know, like, will I mean something for eternity? So whether that is like in your personal life as an individual, or whether there's someone you love so much that you pray that they never forget about you or they love you forever. And then I thought, well, yeah, it's almost like the same. It's like a letter to the music industry, to fans, you know, like I'm letting you know that with you is where I want to be. I want to be here in this music. I want to be here with my fans. I want to be here dealing with the music business, even though it's hard. This is what I love. This is what I've chosen. But are you gonna remember me? You know, are you gonna love me back as much as I love you? So I just thought of it like, okay, this is a love letter to my fans, to music, but also something that anyone dealing with it actually on a personal level can relate to, you know. So whether that's the passing of a loved one or something like that, like I hate to like get gory, but you know, music is for all moments in time, and I tend to be pretty good at connecting with people when they're sad. And so some people have said to me like, I love this song, but it's so sad, Shontelle. And I guess you could say like it was written from a sad space, you know. That's where I was at the time. Like it was just like dark, like I'm just stuck in Barbados, like everyone forgot about me. This is how I feel, you know. So they had me in the studio. They was like, "You gonna cry? You gonna cry when you sing this, girl. People need to like really know how you really feel." And they like really made me cry, like for real, in the studio, like working on this song. So I really do hope that even though I like do not have all the same resources as a lot of really major artists, and you know, I don't know how this is gonna go. Hopefully it does the same thing like Impossible, like little bit by little bit, gradually it'll touch pockets of people, and eventually, you know, it will sort of become a thing on its own. But for right now, it's doing pretty well on Spotify for just this little song with no promo. I just put out the lyric video on YouTube, and that's doing pretty cute, just off of me just saying, everyone on Instagram, here's a new song. So, you know, maybe I'll watch and see how it organically continues to grow, and then probably like inject some sort of like real like marketing dollars and stuff behind it. But for now, I'm kind of like really just enjoying seeing the people that are genuinely my supporters and fans like find it and coming and giving me their genuine feedback, because this is who I'm making it for, you know. So yeah, it's hopefully it'll be another little song that did.